Hey everyone, this is Al Acterys here, Managing Director of Architecture and Platforms here at FP Automation. Welcome back to our final video in our government contracting series within Microsoft Fabric powered by Acterys. In this video, we will be talking all about what-if analysis planning and how easy it is for you to be able to create a new scenario and then run a what-if analysis in order to be able to see and compare different scenarios to one another for best case, worst case, and middle case scenarios. So what I'd like to first off start by doing is explain to you why this is so valuable to your organization. Imagine now your organization has the ability to model what potential costs could look like in certain situations, giving your management the ability to be able to choose different scenarios and forecasts to go with when it comes to your government contract plan so that you know the optimal projects and solution to be able to take when it comes to your future year forecast projections and whether or not you should or should not be taking certain projects, ultimately allowing you to make decisions based off of data. So let me explain to you how easy this is within a couple clicks for you to have the ability to see a fully generated what-if scenario in place that mimics your forecast scenario here. Let's first off start by creating a new scenario. What I have the ability to do is I can actually create scenarios through the Acterys table edit visual, such as, for example, this scenario called What If 3. What this is going to do is this is going to create this scenario now available to me. You can see this is now on the screen here. And then if I look at my scenarios that are available to myself, I can see that What If 3 is now available. Now at the moment, we don't have any data for this particular scenario, and that's okay. We want to go ahead and start to generate data for this scenario by going ahead and running our copy analyses, and then of course running our indirect rate calculations using the same data we have for the forecast scenario in this case. So let's see how that's done. What I can do on here is I can go ahead and edit each individual copy visual we have here, which is tied to a particular cube, which houses different data. So for example, this houses our cost plus revenue data. We have our direct non-labor data here, our indirect cost assumptions here, and then our direct labor cost assumptions here. If I go ahead and choose forecast, and then choose what if number 3 right here, and then go ahead and hit save, and then do the same thing for each of my other scenarios right here. What I'm going to have the ability to do is copy all of this data at once in one go. That's how easy this is. So I'm going to go ahead now and do this for my final cube right here, direct labor. And now I'll have all my data set up for being able to copy. Then from here, I'm going to go ahead and hit copy for each of these various different options right here, which is then going to give me the ability to be able to see my data within one place here. So what this is going to do is this is going to allow me to refresh my data, and notice right here that the forecast is starting to look very similar to what we have right here, except revenue is not necessarily matching, and that's because we don't necessarily have our indirect costs in place. So from a cost standpoint for non-labor and direct labor, those are matching. But let's go ahead and let's run our indirect allocation or pool rates for what if scenario 3 and see what happens. By running our pool rates right here, this is not only going to generate our values, but we can now also see that our forecasts and our what if scenario 3 are now tying completely. So within a couple clicks and within less than 1 to 2 minutes, we now have a fully fledged forecast generated for what if scenario number 3 that we then can go and model in our different modules that we have available to us right here. And we can also see that the forecast scenario and what if 3 are matching. This then allows us to be able to go into our what if analyses page where we can compare multiple scenarios to one another. So for each project, we can see each scenario modeled out right here. So for example, if we look at forecast scenario as well as what if scenario number 3 for this particular project, which is PRJ001, I can see that we're currently showing the same revenue. But how would our profitability be affected if we were to get a higher rate in this particular scenario? So let's go ahead and let's model that. If we go to our cost plus revenue module, what we have the ability to do here is we can go ahead and select what if scenario 3. We can go ahead and select project number 1. And then from here, let's go ahead and let's model instead a 12% cost plus. When we go ahead and hit save right here, this is going to go ahead and adjust our profit projections as well as our revenue projections. And now if we head back to our what if analyses page right here to go ahead and do a comparison, or as our team is making these changes, we can immediately see the change between forecast and what if 3 and how our profit is affected in here. And that's as simple as it gets right here. Now you have the ability to compare multiple different scenarios and have that data housed in a centralized location, allowing your team to have the ability to see various different scenarios side by side and give them the ability to copy those data between scenarios to go with a final official one for a particular project before finalizing the forecast and making decisions around moving forward with certain projects as a go or no-go decision. So I hope you enjoyed this series. This was a lot of fun making. Thank you, and this is Alp signing out.